literally cannot believe the day is here. It's like 7:30. I just woke up and I wrote in my journal and I was like, I can't believe the morning is here. From the morning I sat in Perry's in Bali deciding whether I should just take the risk and book all of this or not, to now all of the hard work that took place in between. No matter how today goes, it's already a huge achievement and I'm so incredibly proud of myself, which is like so true, because I feel like I've been putting so much pressure on myself, being like, what if nobody comes, like all of this, which we already have like over 20 people booked in between the two classes, and I'm sure they're gonna look around the shop, so that's already 20 people coming. But either way, I'm like, even if they didn't show up, even if nobody showed up, I feel like this has been on my vision board to do a pop-up shop for like 2 years, but obviously last year I had like no stock. And honestly, I'm gonna be so real, it is a super expensive thing to put on as a really small business. Really proud of myself. I wrote in my journal, this is my new journal, just read a few pages of manifest, and now I'm gonna get up, make sure I look super pretty for the day, and eat some food so that I'm fed and ready to go. This is my hair and makeup. I just kind of went over my natural curls with the wand. I feel so beautiful. This is my outfit. You can't really see because I'm sitting down, so I'll show you later. I'm just having some brekkie. I'm having banana with peanut butter on toast and a mug of cacao just to ground myself before I finish packing up the car and get on the road. Okay, so my car is all packed up. We're about to hit the road. It's bright. Yeah, I'm actually just about to start driving. I probably should have left like 10 minutes ago, but whatever, it's fine. My car is genuinely Mary Poppins' car. Can I see out the back? Not really, but like whatever, it's fine. Oh, beautiful humans. It is actually like 3 weeks since the pop-up now, which is crazy. I still just think assuming I could vlog the whole day while also trying to run that whole event was so ambitious of me. And yeah, it kind of just went out the window as soon as we got inside. So that's why I just included a couple of clips. My friend was doing content for the day, which like, shout out to my friends. Like, I really feel like that whole event, oh, this is a little bit wonky and it's really annoying me. I need to fix it. Anyways, yes, running that whole event just showed me really how amazing my friendships are, and also how grateful I am to have those friendships in my life. I feel like there was a time where I only could have dreamed to have friends that support me in the way that my friends support me and show up for me now. So I'm so grateful for that. I also just thought that rather than just like not post the video, because I think there was like 3 minutes of like usable footage the whole day, that I would kind of just jump on here and just kind of run through the whole thing and what I learned from it as somebody who is like a really small business owner. I actually hate even using the term small business, because I remember somebody saying before, like, if you coin your business as a small business, how is it ever gonna grow? But like technically, like in like, what would the word be? I guess like official terms, it's a super micro business. But that doesn't mean we're not gonna be global one day. But I just thought I would kind of run through the whole experience of like running that pop-up. It was the first time I've ever ran an event like that. It was so amazing, like so much fun. I also feel like it took me until like probably like maybe this week or like the week before to actually be like, whoa, that was super cool. I think I'm really hard on myself, so I find it really hard to like congratulate myself for things, and like sometimes I often measure my success in numbers as opposed to feelings, or you know. And like the thing with running this pop-up was I knew it was going to be hard from day one to like make it profitable, because the space itself was super expensive. So I guess I thought I would like use this video to kind of speak about what I would do differently, like what I enjoyed about it and all of that. So, and yeah, maybe just, I don't know, because I feel like when I planned to do this, I was like fully looking up on YouTube being like, okay, surely somebody else has done this type of thing, like what can I learn from this, or like how do I even go about doing this? So let's get into it. I have had this pop-up on my vision board. I will literally get my vision board, my one downstairs, and show you the images that I put on it for this year. Initially, I wanted to do this last year, but if anyone follows my brand's Instagram or my personal Instagram, you will know that basically last year I worked with a manufacturer in Croatia. We had worked on like a denim jean and jacket set. They were so beautiful. I still love the designs. I had collabed with my friend Barbara Bennett, who's an amazing designer, like graphic designer, on it, and I was so excited about it. I paid for all of the fabrics and half of the production cost. I had also paid for tech packs. I had paid for samples. Like, you know, we are talking into the thousands, and this was also, you know, at a time when I had just got my logo redone. Like, anyway, I think this is a story for another day, but anyway, basically I never got any of that stock. I also lost a lot of my money. I did get some back, but not all of it, which like, as a really small business and somebody who a lot of the time I'm putting some of my own money into this, like the business pays for itself a lot of the time. But when I do new things like that, like working with new manufacturers that are a higher cost because I want to increase quality, I suppose, so it increased costs overall, it meant I was having to put more of my own investments in. Just lose that money was like really shitty. And so initially I put the pop-up on my vision board last year, but obviously I had no stock. I was lucky enough to do a pop-up with Urban Outfitters last year, which was cool, but I was supposed to have all of the stock for that, and that was when it didn't arrive. So
thankfully sorted all of those manufacturing issues at the end of last year and finally had some new stock. And then yeah, so once I knew that, okay, like we're good to go, I have manufacturing issues sorted, like I have summer stock like ready to be produced, and started producing it. And I was in Bali in February. I was like telling my friend, I was like, I've had it pop up on my vision board for like 2 years, like I really want to make it work. And she was just like, okay, so make it work. And I had been to an exhibition in the space where we had the pop-up like a few months before, and I remember just being like, this floor is perfect for roller skating, because obviously my brand, like the whole brand is like, you know, we're roller skaters, we're surfers, we love the beach, we do yoga. So I didn't want to just do a pop-up, I wanted to incorporate all of it into it. So I remember emailing the space back in like February, and I found out then that it was like, I'm gonna give you like a ballpark figure, like it was like more than $1,000. Not a lot more than $1,000, but it was more than $1,000 for the day, which was also 8 hours, and then I had half an hour to set up and half an hour to finish up, so really 9 hours, I suppose, which like I feel like maybe for Dublin that's like fairly standard, because it was like a studio, it's not like a space. But even I remember like speaking to my social media agent, like when I was telling her that I wanted to do a pop-up this year, she was like, okay, maybe we need to do it with another brand, because the most expensive cost is the studio rental or whatever. But I was just like, this is something that I just want to do for me. Like I kind of was just like, I don't really care about the costs. I know it's going to be hard to like make money, but I just feel like I need to do it. So that was the first like kind of like call to action. And then I remember like speaking to my friend and just being like, this is a lot of money. And she was like, okay, so like why don't you do a roller skate class and a yoga class as part of it, because that's such a huge part of your brand as well. So that was where the inspiration, I guess, for the doing both of the classes came from. It was technically like, because I was also like, you know, I'm paying a lot of money for stock and I don't want the profits or sales from the pop-up to essentially just be paying for the space. Like I would like there to be something else as well, you know. So we then decided to do a yoga class and do a roller skate workshop. It was my first time teaching a roller skate workshop for adults, I suppose, because well, I have taught adults before in Ireland. Also I usually teach roller skating with like the sports partnerships. Now I have done one with adults before, but other than that it's usually teenage girls and in the schools. So I was just like so excited. So the class that we did was like a freedom flow, and it was all just like, or sorry, find and feel yourself in flow, and all based around like just kind of tapping into that flow state and forgetting what people think of you when you're on your roller skates. And it was honestly so beautiful. And the yoga class was held by my friend Anna as well. So just even, I think it just worked out so perfectly. It aligned with the brand so well, like doing those classes. Like it was just like, oh, like why would I even consider doing a pop-up and not having these things as part of it as well. So it was super beautiful. So that was how our day started. And obviously those were ticketed events, but I was like really passionate about the fact that if people are paying to come to the event, like I always feel like I just want to make sure people are taking so much for it, and the money that people are spending is like an exchange, and it's not just like, you know, paying for a class or paying for that kind of thing, you know. My friend Anna is the most beautiful yoga teacher in the world, and I really do feel like people took so much from that class. And even the same with the skate class, like I really tried to apply like a spiritual aspect to it, and it felt really beautiful. And then I was lucky enough to get some sponsors on board, which, guys, that is the hardest part of like running these events. I think I said it in the video where I was speaking about the beach events, like reaching out to brands and just trying to convince them to give you stuff for free. It is like such a little like beggar or something, especially because I know as a small business like how tricky it can be. And one of the sponsors that we had in particular, I've worked with them before, They're another small business. They make socks, which it was too aligned for me to not reach out to them. But thankfully everybody who got a pair of socks loved them. And yeah, I was just like, I just sometimes feel so rude or something, just being like, hey, can you just get me blah blah blah. But anyways, everyone went home with a goodie bag, which, you know, to get so much from the classes and then a little goodie bag as well, like made me feel like, okay, it's like an equal exchange, you know, that kind of way. Then after the classes were over, we just had like pop-up, and this is where I feel like I maybe like have learned a lot for next time, because from the yoga class and from the skate class, like people that were there, like they shopped. Like all of the money that I made from clothing sales was made from the people that were at the classes. And I also am super lucky that some of the girls that I skate with like came into town and skated around with flyers basically telling people to please come into the pop-up. I'm just like, yo, how do I have the most supportive people in my life? Like, it's insane to me, and I feel so grateful. Like my lesson in that is like, because it was a Saturday afternoon, like town was busy but people were kind of drinking, so in my head I'm like, okay, then is Sunday more of a day for shopping that people do that? Or like, is the lesson like, okay, so we do the yoga class in the morning, allow people to shop before the class, and then for longer after the class, and do the skate class a little bit later, so that I'm keeping people there later, and like they've more time to shop in between, and like then people can come in off the street and shop more in the time in between and that kind of thing. I feel like the only downside to the day, because oh my god, like the classes, first of all, both were like pretty much full. Like tickets wise, I was feeling like, oh my god, we haven't sold out or whatever. But then when we had everybody in the space, because when I initially went to view the space, like I spoke to the guy who runs Fade Street Studios, and he was telling me that people teach Pilates and yoga there already, and he was kind of saying like, yeah, like comfortably you can fit like 20 people on a yoga mat, and then like maximum 25. But I was like, okay, cool. But I was also forgetting that like we had the rails of clothing. Like I feel like, I think we had maybe about 12 to 15 in each class, and we probably could have squeezed a few more in, but it would have been super tight with all of the rails and stuff as well. So I was just delighted to have that many people there. And you know, the good thing as well is like with the ticket sales that we did have, I did cover half of the space. I mean, as I said, it's an expensive space, so I was like, you know, delighted that not everything that I made on the day was going straight back into the space. So like then once the people from the roller skate class kind of left, like everybody was kind of gone by about 4, so we had the space until, I think we had it till, yeah, we had it 11 till 7. And we did have a few people kind of coming in off the street between 4 and 7, but it was like super quiet. And I do feel like a lot of the people that were kind of strolling in from the street were just coming to look, is where everybody that was at the skate classes was like coming to, like they were buying. And I think my other lesson in all of this is so adamant on the ticket sales that I feel like when I promoted the event a lot on social media, I kind of heavily focused on the classes, like the skate class and the yoga class. And then I feel like a lot of people just maybe weren't even aware that you could just kind of stroll in afterwards also. So I feel like for me, there's like 2 big lessons in that. It's like, okay, so maybe the timing is spaced out, or like, okay, maybe for the evening, it's like I get a DJ in, which I wanted to do that. But guys, being so real, like budget was like limited at this point. And I was like, I don't even know, is that definitely going to draw people in? So the biggest lesson for me here is like spending so much on the space. I've already spent so much on the stock drop, so let's just see how this goes. And then it's like, okay, maybe next time we go bigger, we go better, and hopefully I'll have more budget also. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is for me was like, okay, space the yoga and the classes apart. Like doing both was like so good and like felt so authentic to the brand. And it was also like I feel like some people that came to yoga, like by the end of the yoga class and then when they were shopping, I was kind of, oh my god, a magpie. I keep seeing one magpie. It's so annoying. I was almost being like, okay guys, we have to start the skate class soon, so I'm super sorry, but I'm gonna have to kick you all out soon. And I definitely think everybody who was at yoga got their chance to shop, but had I not been in a rush to go into the skate class after, like, would people have kind of stuck around more, is what I mean. So I think my biggest lesson is to space those out a little bit more. Other than that, because I'm trying to like do this in a way that if you were to ever like do an event like this, like what can you learn from my mistakes? Because also I think, like I said at the start of this video, like actually pulling that event off, like for me was, and it's only taken till now to like fully like allow myself the fact that just because I'll be so real with you guys, I did not make profit from that event, but it still, like, was it worth doing? Yes, like I got beautiful content from it. My one regret as well, when I got home, I was like, okay, A, I didn't continue this vlog, B, I'm like, I had that beautiful space, like while it was quiet, like I should have been maximizing TikTok opportunities or like getting some of the people that did come into the shop to like try stuff on more. But I guess like it's not like it was ever like super empty, like there was maybe like 1 or 2 people kind of in there, so I just felt like I had to be speaking to those people at all times. But I'm like, oh, that space was so beautiful, like I should have been using it for even more like, you know, like meme-y kind of content. Like there was one sound I had saved of when somebody trips over and then accidentally taps their card, and I'm just like, while I had that beautiful space, I should have been maximizing the content ability. But again, you live and you learn. And also it's like I think I just got so almost like overwhelmed, especially because the start of the day was so like go 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 that I like didn't even have a chance to breathe. And then when I did have a chance to breathe, I was just like, let me get some food and then like everything else, my mind just kind of went blank. So yeah, I feel like maximizing the space is definitely another one. Weird, because I was about to be like, I'm just not super organized when it comes to these things, but it's weird because I feel like I also am. Like, did I have a timesheet for the whole day? Yes, everybody who was helping me also had the timesheet for the whole day. I had it printed, like, but maybe in future it's like, okay, if there's content that I know that I want to get from the pop-up, okay, I have a list from that, you know? I did get super beautiful content from it. Her.ie came down, took content as well. I am not sure when it's due to be posted, but even the fact that they were there, they posted about it, that's gonna be another nice little bit of exposure. So even them being there, I had like my friend who was doing card readings on the day, like literally had to say to me like, her.ie are at your event, like that's a huge achievement. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And the 2 classes and the people that were there and the sales that I did make, that's a huge achievement, you know, that kind of way. So I think I'm just like someone who's like super hard on myself, even though I knew going into this is my first time doing something like this. Obviously I do the beach events, but even when I think about the first beach event that we did, I think I came out with profit of about €30, and they are a lot more low cost to run than something like the event that I just pulled off. So I think it's always about like constantly reminding myself that the more you do these things, the more you learn from them. And it's also like, okay, maybe next time I look for a slightly cheaper space, or I have the space for slightly less time, or I spread the classes out, and just promoting the fact that you can just stroll in, you don't have to be at a class. Because I think that was one of my biggest downfalls as well, is not like fully being like, no, like come and shop, you know. I also think, and I think all creatives need to like take this on board, especially people like running their own business and speaking about it online. You are not being annoying. Like, you are not telling people enough what you're fucking doing. Because I DM'd somebody who I'd sent a poster to about the event 2 weeks later about something completely different, and then she got back to my message and was like, oh my god, I'm only seeing the invite to the pop-up now. And she was like, I'm absolutely raging, I thought I didn't get invited. And I was like, oh my god, no, don't be silly. And that to me just proved to me that just because you think somebody like isn't replying to you or whatever, it like, people are busy, they just don't see your messages. So everyone that I sent it to, I should have sent a follow-up message to being like, would love to see you here, thank you so much. And me posting about it on social media like the week before the pop-up, my sister was like to me, oh, I hear you're going, because my birthday was that week. My sister was like, are you going into town for your birthday on Saturday? Mom said you are. And I was like, no, I was considering going for dinner or something after the pop-up, but I don't know. And my sister was like, what pop-up? Now, to be fair, she had just got home from a 3-month tour in China, so it's not like she was in the house, because I feel like some people must have been like, what do you mean your sister didn't know about it? But she wasn't in the house. Like, she then said to me, like, none of your posts come up for me on social media anymore, so I didn't even know about it. And I was like, oh, perfect. But I'm just like, if that is my own sister, how many other people had no idea, you know? My biggest takeaways and lessons to you is like, I don't know if I really spoke about like all of the organizing that went into it, but I feel like there's a lot here that like is like you can learn from, is like really look at the structure, make sure the structure like makes loads of sense. Because in my head, like when I initially did the structure and the plan, initially I did have a plan to have a DJ there in the afternoon, but then A, I just didn't have the budget for it, and B, I was like, you know, it's gonna have to be over by 7, like, or because initially I was kind of like, I'd love come nighttime for it to turn into like a bit of a like rendezvous party type thing. But then it was like, oh, we only have the space till 7, so is there a point? Going forward, it's like I either get that DJ just for the last 3 hours to try to get more people in, or it's like, yeah, just space the classes out completely, like the skate one is in the afternoon so that people are there until the end, and try and get more people into the middle. So really look at your structure on how you're doing these things. Also, I would really recommend anyone doing a pop-up to have some kind of thing like that, like what I did, because honestly, when I look at that, I'm like, if I didn't have the classes, would anyone have come at all? I'm sure they would have, but like doing the classes and, you know, people paying for tickets to come to the classes, like really just meant that they were committed to coming, because lots of people told me they were gonna come when I sent them like the flyer about it that didn't show up, and that's fine, people have things on, but I'm just like, having those classes or even inviting a few people to come for free means that there's guaranteed people at your event. Or even if it is like, even if you have the budget to, I don't know, put on a yoga class for free just to get people into the space, like it's genius, you know. I was about to say go me, but my friend Perry gave me the idea when we were speaking about it in Bali, so it's not even on me, I can't take the credit. Next thing I would say is don't think about numbers, because as I said, it's literally been this week for me that I've like fully been able to be like, oh my god, I really fucking did that, like I really fucking achieved that. And even just to take that off my vision board after the hellish year with that manufacturer that I had last year, like I'm like, go fucking me. It's me picking myself up over and over again, and I don't think people realize how often you have to do that as a business owner, and believing in the vision. And just, even though it's like, yeah, I didn't make money from it, I didn't profit from it, it's still a massive achievement, and in the long run it's going to stand to me. So all of these things are just like stepping stones to the final goal, and I think I'm also someone that runs with the final goal so much and just being like, oh, why am I not there yet? Why am I not there yet? Without actually enjoying the process on the way to getting there. So think about numbers would be my other thing. Have a good support system around you. As I said, I had the most amazing group of friends there. I had a friend doing content for me. My friend Anna actually taught the yoga class, and we exchanged, I suppose. I allowed her to display her artwork in the space, which I was still gonna pay her to do the class anyway, but she was like, I'm not taking money for the class for you, because she basically said, had she have rented the space to have an art exhibition, it would have cost her a fortune. So she felt like for me, giving her that opportunity was equal to the class, which I felt crazy about. But even that, I was like, that's such a huge support, and I feel so grateful. And did the content for me. She refused to take any money from me for that either. And I always feel so weird about these things because I've worked in jobs where I felt completely taken advantage of. And so my biggest thing as a business owner is like, I never ever want to put creatives in a position where they feel like they're taken advantage of, because I worked in a job for 2.5 years, which I felt like was the best job in the world because it was creative and I was like, you know, working with clothes and whatnot. But I look back at it now as a really shitty time in my life where my creativity was completely taken advantage of. So I'm really passionate about not making people feel like that. So the fact that my friends stood up for me and showed up for me and were just like, no, like, we want to do this for you, I still feel weird about it, but I'm also so grateful. And I think sometimes you just have to let people that want to help you. And also even just my friends that were there for the day handing out the flyers and just spending the day with me, I would not have been able to do it on my own. And yeah, so I think having a support system around you is like super important on the day as well. My last thing is just like to just enjoy it. And as I said, remember, it's all part of the journey and it's about focusing on the journey as opposed to the destination. So I think that is everything that I learned from the whole experience. I really hope that next year we can do it again and better, and maybe we'll have that DJ that I think I'm gonna learn to DJ. Maybe I'll just DJ myself. But I'm like, me being the total control freak that I am about this business, just being another thing I can do myself. No, just wanted to have this little chat and hopefully you take something from it if you run a small business and you want to do a pop-up. Honestly, it was like I learned so much from it, and I feel like even just doing the one day, like maybe next year it's like I do the 2 days, like, or have a space where we can do a week. Like obviously that is like the goal. Obviously one day would love to have a store. I'm not gonna say where because I'm moving soon, guys, but that's for another day. And yeah, I feel like all of these things are just, again, building me up for the final goal. So I hope you took something from that. I feel like it was kind of rambly, but anyways, I'm gonna leave you with some love and light, and thank you for watching.